세러데이 쇼다운 KT 롤스터 대 DN 슈퍼스.
T1. But we always knew they were going to win in the end. And they took down Gen G a couple of weeks ago. That was also a 2-1 where Pays picked up the POM. He's been having a great season so far. After, I'd say, like the midway point, he's really gotten online, especially in that series. As we are going to hop into game number 1 of this matchup, the Telecom War, always a classic. And Bard is not allowed.
Yeah, Bard ban against T1. You know, that is actually the most banned champion against T1.
I'm not surprised at all.
By a very healthy margin as well. Right now, it's Bard at 77%, and the next is Orianna at 43%. So, pretty big gap. Right now, though, 3 picks actually, I think, are open and available. One is Cassiopeia, who's going to go now. But Rumble, Jarvan, both available here, which are 2 picks that we often see banned currently.
Ezreal up.
Lucian as well, another one. And if you pick in the Lucian, then Jarvan priority does drop a decent amount. Will we see T1 deny the Milio? They all have the Caitlyn, so you can't go like Kate Milio, so perhaps not. Maybe it is just going to be the Ezreal, but we often see Vi picked into Lucian. You have that reliable CC, and if it isn't Milio, you can just lock it down. Rumble Vi could be a strong rotation here. We'll see if they opt for it. It does mean, though, that they can't pick up that bot lane in its entirety for the second rotation. So a little bit of weakness in that regard. I imagine this is going to be the Milio, though, for effort. We've seen that higher prio than the Nami, and also into this very destructive combo. Makes sense to pick that up here. And the question is, are you going to go for jungle in this situation? Because I imagine going Jarvan or Xin Zhao would be powerful. Concern with Jarvan is they could pick Ezreal on 3 and have something that can get out the Cataclysm. But still a pretty strong jungler by any means. Instead, just going to look towards the Rise. Now, T1 could, in theory, go Anivia here. There is the potential to do that. There's also Annie, which just goes well with that combo at the top side. Ari, but not the best lane matchup. Talia as well. Talia's been pretty popular into Rise. Honestly, Talia feels pretty good here. Good in a decent matchup in the Rise, good into Lucian, good with Vi. So I wonder if they'll go towards that. But I feel like a mid lane option here for Faker would make a lot of sense.
What's it going to be? Anivia is going to be the call.
I think still very good against the short-range composition of KT and a good matchup into Rise. So KT opt not to pick up that jungler and go for the Rise instead. They end up in that matchup into the Anivia, and it gives T1 a chance to trim down some of those jungle picks. I feel like the Jarvan ban is going to be more relevant because you could see Ezreal get banned away here, and then you have less options to get out of that Cataclysm. So I think that would make a lot of sense. They are going to go for the Trundle first and foremost, though. I think that's been rising in priority. A lot of strength against a mobile pick, something Cuz is also very good on. But at first, we saw it specifically into Xin Zhao as a counter. Now it's been more widespread. Something else that kind of went through that progression was Neferi. Neferi originally a counter to Vi and then became more widespread. But when the enemy team has Vi, maybe T1 opt to ban the Neferi in this situation. Seraphine going to be the first ban.
There she is!
Will she be upset about this?
Wait, they just banned her. She needs to leave.
Yeah, unfortunate.
That's so messed up there at the end.
Yeah. And actually going for the Xante ban, so something we've seen pretty popular into the Rumble. There is still the option of going the Scion. Ornn was popular for a while into the Rumble. We've also seen Galio.
We've
seen Yorick and Bessa. There's still a lot of options for Perfect, in this situation.
Perfect's definitely a guy that has kind of a wonky pool, and he can play a lot of different things, so definitely curious to see what he's going to play. They're going to ban Nico as well. I
mean, Kerry has been phenomenal in Nico, but it's definitely a pick we've seen fall off in terms of priority. It does mean you can't go for the Ezreal Nico, which we know being popular with some teams. And what are you going to be able to bring out here that can match up into the Lucian Milio? You could honestly go like MF Nort is a combo we've seen sometimes. You could just go Jhin plus kind of whatever. Xayah
Rakan?
Bit of a surprise, honestly. Xayah not the easiest to play into Lucian because although obviously your feathers are a threat when he comes in at short range, he has a lot of outplay potential to get away from those fellas initially. It's going to be the Yorick into the Rumble. We have seen this pick have success in this matchup, although we haven't seen it altogether too much. But gives a lot of power in the side lane when you have a Ryze and a Yorick. And then Cuz, I was thinking there's the potential for the Jarvan, the potential for the Xin Zhao. We're just going to go the Wukong, interestingly enough.
Wukong's good into Xayah because you have the double proc on the Cyclone nowadays. And
yeah.
It is going to be Rakan, which is not a big surprise. The bigger surprise is the Xayah Rakan. That does come through for the T1 bot lane.
It's a lot of team fighting power for T1. I feel like T1 are fully invested into their 5v5. Vi Rumble, Rakan on top of that is so much lockdown. It's going to make it very hard for aiming to play out team fights. And FaZe can be pretty self-sufficient. He also has the protection of Faker, who can play the control role. But on the other side, for KT, it's a strong bot lane. Top lane matchup's going to be good. Might be a bit of a struggle for BDD. We can see what he can do in the matchup. And ultimately, playing through side lanes with a strong bot lane who can apply pressure through mid. We often see Lucian when it was Lucian Nami. They had a lot of pressure on contesting the mid wave. Lucian Milio still does a similar thing. And if you keep mid shoved in and pressured while your side laners are being successful, you're just going to be in a great spot with this composition. So I think the strengths of these two compositions kind of differing in where on the map and how they're going to play things out. But ultimately, I think both teams have win cons to play through.
Yeah, feels like a pretty nice draft from both sides regardless. Definitely one big curveball with the Xayah Rakan, but seeing more Xayah nowadays, and they're going to opt for the duo, as it is the Telecom War, and Game 1 will start right now. Alrighty, game number 1. As we do begin, we've been having a lot more 6 gamers, Ox. It feels like after all the 4 gamers, we were denied 6 gamers.
I said we need a 6 gamer in this one.
But we had it yesterday.
We need the 2-1.
It already happened.
To get the 3-way tiebreaker, which I know everyone is hoping for. Apart from the KT fans, it'd obviously prefer if they just won. But everyone else wants maximum chaos.
I don't know if they're allowed to declare that they prefer a win for their team. If you're a KT fan, actually, I think you have to say that you would prefer that they lose and then secretly hope that they win.
That's a good strategy.
It's one we've seen employed many a time.
We are seeing the exhaust again from FaZe, often seeing this into the Lucian. Able to shut down his bears quite effectively. I wonder, I've said this before, but I wonder if we get to the point where we start seeing the cleanse. If you're expecting the exhaust, then you can just cleanse it and trade those quite effectively. It's what used to be like the meta when we had Lucian Nami all the time, is that they'd run an exhaust into you and you just run cleanse. And then you mind game it by not running exhaust, and it goes full circle.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that kind of ends up developing, maybe as we go towards the road to MSI. Time being, though, you can see aiming and effort having a lot of pressure in the bot lane. Perfect as well on the top side. BDD doing pretty well in the lane so far against Faker, getting a lot of his health down, which is obviously a little bit fake because of the egg, but it's still a good start. I think the thing with the egg, he has red buff as well.
Yeah, and mid lane's being pushed in.
Red buff is so strong early.
Owner's able to hide here on the bush, though, and now he's going to go
nice
in
dodge.
onto Cuz. It was a nice dodge, but now Carrier's going to come over here quickly. We do have effort and aiming making their way in. As heal going to be utilized here by Carrier.
Yeah, they did a change at the start of the year that just made red buff so much stronger early. And in a situation like this, where Cuz has the outplay potential of the Warrior Trickster and a red buff advantage, it's so hard for Owner to match it. So Owner gets forced off his red. This is obviously a big boon for KT, but it does mean that Cuz kind of wants to go clear his own jungle. And we see Owner's going to go up towards that top scuttle and then doesn't really have much else to do. So I kind of expect to see him look for a gank on the back of that. I think the solo laners of KT have to be a little bit concerned, a little bit wary. You can see Cuz moving into his own jungle to continue clearing.
What do we think about that ward there from Carrier? It's outside the bush.
It's an unexpected ward.
It's not, yeah, unexpected. They also saw it placed and pinged it. So it's a bit more expected now.
A little bit more expected.
Yeah.
Perhaps suboptimal, we will say, that ward placement. But, you know, everyone's had it. Even Carrion can have it.
We were talking about. So Perfect's just getting in there and doing a bunch of damage to Doran instead. So it's going to force a big trade, though, as Doran. And I think that might bait Perfect in. Doran does have to flash away. He's taking damage, though, and 1Q gets the first blood as Perfect's like, oh, so that's why you were doing that. Now, Perfect doesn't have flash now and should almost definitely go down, I think, as... Nope, he doesn't have his Q, and the wall, the cooling wall comes up. Perfect, man. He is so good.
This is so big for KT because Ona, with nothing to do on the map, really wants to make a play. And I think Doran just ends up baiting it too hard, ends up going down, and then there's that thought, well, this is not good, but at least we get the trade kill. No, they don't even get that. Connecting everything after the flash, and Lobi gets hit here. Able to get away using the wall. Really well placed and timed, and doesn't have the cooldown again.
I think he said, I'm older brother, which is something that Lehens always says. It's also something that apparently Career said during his big Bard ults that we had in the Mad movie. So a pretty common phrase to say, like, yeah.
Like saying, I'm him.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's kind of the vibe, to be honest.
I'm the guy.
I'm not a native Korean speaker, but...
And Perfect was the guy in that play.
He kind of is the guy. That's why I was kind of shouting him out, and I was saying, you know, I think the solo laners of KT are really going to be the ones...
Oh, BDD's fishing. To
make this interesting.
Is moving up towards the top side as well. Ona's not in position to help out. Doran's just dead, I think. Yeah, he knows it.
Yeah,
he walked back.
Yeah, he's just dead. Meanwhile, the junglers are fighting here, as Perfect is going to eat all of that equalizer damage. He is just... He's sitting in it. He's like sitting on the campfire. Meanwhile, on the right side, Cuz in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. Zoner at least gets that kill, but Doran does die once again.
Yeah, so Cuz ends up overstepping a little bit, trying to assist with the play. I didn't quite see how that started off because I was looking towards the top lane. But we'll no doubt get a replay so we can see it again.
Perfect's a little bit fed. He's got almost 1,000 gold today.
Oh no.
As meanwhile, Aiming gonna get turret aggro and just die. Not sure about this play. Bottom lane of KT. And Effort is going to have to back away. That's what happens to the Gold King sometimes, is you lose your focus on the game and you just want that gold.
Yeah, so many times when you're playing into a melee support and you have a favorable matchup, they're just waiting for you to make a mistake next to the tower. And it eventually ends up happening where... Okay, the recall gets interrupted. But where Aiming just steps up too close. He's probably been having a great time all lane. He's like, look how freely I can trade into them. One step too far, and he ends up going down.
Yeah. Again, I think the solo laners of KT are going to be the big difference maker if we do see KT pick up some wins.
It feels really bad as well. I know Lucian Emilio does spike pretty well in the mid game, and the Lucian is going to be strong on his 1 and 2 item spikes. And I mean, onward from that as well. But it feels bad in a lane like this when you're falling behind, because Xayah Rakan will offer a lot to the team fights and be very robust and reliable, it feels like.
Yeah.
So Aiming making a bit of a mistake there. We didn't get to see the replay yet. But I believe what happened is Cuz W'd over the wall and didn't expect to see Ona there and was already lower HP and lower level and just kind of got bullied as a result. Was kind of trying to make his way up towards the top side or maybe steal away the Krugs and just happened upon Ona. End result though, KT with a bit of an edge in terms of gold. Perfect extremely strong right now. Both junglers now with their level 6s available if they want to make something happen.
See, Perfect is playing a little bit safe at the moment. He doesn't want to get close. I mean, Cuz is here as well. So they have a very strong feeling that the enemy jungler is somewhere here, but they don't know 100%. And as we know, Owner just backed, so he's not actually on the top side of the map. Cuz is going to go ahead and go for the grubs as they realize he's not on the top side of the map. They can just take that objective. We do see a go ping from the blue team T1 so, onto the dragon, so maybe Owner will go for that in the trade. And that he will.
You can see the pressure in the bot lane here with Aiming trying to recall. Carrier just harassing him, trying to force him to recall under tower. Means KT in no real position to contest this. Thorin also going to take an opportune recall here. He was about half HP. We'll get to buy. And it looks like, oh, if they punish here, this could be devastating for Doran.
I mean, they saw Cuz, the TP comes in anyway, and now there's a Realm Warp as well. So I think, you know, with 3 people up here, Doran is not in a great spot. He is going to flash and die anyway. BDD, nice juggle of the tower aggro. As Cuz gets out, BDD only takes 1 shot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Doran also didn't have ultimate, which could have helped with the dive or just been used in lieu of being at the tower. But I think the correct play there for Doran would have been to, yes, recall, but just walk back to lane and wait and see what happens. But TPing back under the tower ends up in a really bad spot. And we see Cuz and BDD just really allowing this gold lead in the top lane to explode.
Yeah. This Yorick is just gigantic.
Power as well.
2,000 gold ahead, 9.5 minutes in. He's just tanking the Flame Spitter. Like, I don't know if that was a good idea, but it seems like he's fine. He's going to have to give over some Maiden Gold, though.
He's got his role quest completed already, and Doran isn't even 3/4. So he's 2 full levels up right now in the matchup. And obviously, having the lane quest done already does boost that. But I don't think Doran really cares about whether he's going to get that later. The problem is he has to lane into Perfect right now, and Perfect also has a Triforce completed. Not a fun time for this Rumble, not by any means.
ENC's kind of got the wave right in front of his turret. I don't know how long he's going to be able to keep it there. And, you know, with 3 Grubs and Ryze and Yorick, especially with the Yorick super fed, KT are going to have a lot of side lane pressure, and if they continue with the lead and play this right, you could definitely see some nice win cons coming from that side lane pressure in this mid game.
I think Ryze just generally feels comfortable in the side lane, and he can kill waves quickly. So BDD being in a good position is nice, but he was always going to be at least relevant in the side lane. But having this Yorick be this strong is really what KT were looking for with this composition, and puts them in a great position to play out the game to their win cons. So there is a Ocean Dragon coming up. So we'll see if KT opt to look to contest that and find a position to be able to fight for it. But for the time being, things are going pretty positively.
Our mid laners trading. They both have Catalyst and not a whole lot of AP. So it's just a farm fiesta in mid. Not really the most interesting one-on-one.
Faker just like him and to stop his recall.
Yeah, no recalls for you. Anivia very good at that. Long-range Q with the stun, but also the wall is the big one.
You know what people used to do on Earth? They'd go Anivia, and they could actually just wall you in your base.
Yeah.
And then you'd get like the AFK punishment because you couldn't leave the base.
It's a good strategy.
It's an evil strategy.
If it works, it works. Speaking of working, Doran is working hard, but he's not actually getting much done. As now, effort is engage Melio. He is going to ult and flash away. He says, never playing engage Melio again.
We've seen some interesting Melios. We've seen flanking Melio.
Yeah.
Wasn't super inspiring. But ultimately, when you look at how the lane has played out, Hayes up in farm, has that kill advantage. Feels fantastic. We've seen even some of the harder 2v2s we've seen Lucian Melio do very well into. But the fact that you're playing into Zyra Khan and they're coming out this far ahead is very promising. We have seen a bit... Oh, BDD's in trouble.
He is in a bunch of trouble. They're trying to link some stuns up. They're getting ahead of him as well, waiting for the flash. But BDD is just so fast as the E comes through, but he lives anyway with the help of Effort, who gets there. As now Faker going to go down to the egg. Flashes first, thinks maybe his team can help him. Carrier trying to do that, but eventually the egg will fall on top of it all. It's perfect. It's just shelling out so much damage already.
I feel like one of the best sort of traits that Perfect has had, particularly this year, has been finding windows where he has pressure in a side lane and just tuning up mid at the best time possible. There's been so many plays for KT where something's happening mid and their top laner just turns up. You see right now he's actually doing the blue buff and he just wanders over, turns up, BDD just escapes, and suddenly there's this super strong Yorick here, throws a glob on a Faker, Still had the wall ready. Didn't even need it. He's an egg. You don't need to wall the egg in. I know Humpty Dumpty's weak to walls, but they broke it pretty fine without one.
Yeah. He had a great fall, I heard.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Couldn't put him back together again.
All the King's horses, man, they tried.
I'm not gonna lie, King's horses, not very useful. Putting something delicate back together.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why they're mentioned at all in the story, to be honest.
Also, I feel like when you're trying to put something delicate together, excessive numbers isn't exactly a winning trait.
Yeah. Did they really need all of them?
Like, they could have just
maybe
had
just one guy.
One guy who's really, maybe with a little bit of backup, because it sounds like Humpty Dumpty wasn't like a tiny egg, but maybe a bit of backup to hold things in place. But I
like
think
one craftsman or like an artisan or something, you know?
Yeah.
Emilio's dead.
It kind of feels like a too many chef situation.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they failed on putting the egg back together.
It really does feel like they didn't think it through. Unlike us, who have really thought of every possibility.
We've really explored how they would put the egg back together.
Yeah. T1 are looking for double dragon here, and the fact that effort is dead, I think, is going to help them pick this one up.
Yeah, this Emilio just struggling a little bit.
Oh, Hextech.
Okay, so T1 get the big payoff. 2 dragons already in pocket, and they discover it's a Hextech Soul, which feels pretty fantastic, especially into a short range. I mean, to be honest, both of these compositions, relatively short range, short to mid-ranged, but the Hextech value is just so big, especially when you have abilities that can proc it from a distance, like little flick of the Zaya feathers.
Yeah.
Can easily just land a slow that AoEs and everyone else.
Or an equalizer.
That does already slow, though, so...
Yeah, but...
It just change
it can change
to other people. Yeah.
So you can just, like, potentially even just throw it down. You're not going to want to do it every time like that, but if you do get a Hextech Soul, could be nice. As I thought Cuz was starting the Herald, not the Baron. And he is. He's got aiming with him. And effort, who's been trying his best not to die.
Called for second item. It's a big spike. With this TP as well, I think T1 shouldn't contest this.
Level 12 Yorick with the TP shields.
Yeah. Correct
and
move.
This fed.
Bringing the Yorick in, he's so strong that I think it really just makes you question whether it's worth contesting this. And instead, you can give Doran some alone time in the side lane to get some gold, get some plates. I think that's the better call here. The one thing you do have to contend with is that Herald will be available for that dragon. We'll see if it's used to get pressure at the dragon timing, or if it's used as a combat Herald. Either way, that next dragon is really going to be a big point of contention, with T1 able to secure Hextech Soul point, or KT able to deny that.
Yeah. Perfect not going to have TP for that dragon if it does get fought on spawn, which you would definitely expect. So that's going to be something we might see. It does help that he's in the bot lane. He's probably going to be there for a while. At least we'll be down there for the fight.
I think he'll have the TP because it's a shorter cooldown after the quest, and because he has TP now. It's not like 4 minutes.
I guess it'll be kind of close, actually, as we got BDD down on the bottom side. Speaking of side lane pressure with this comp, trying to take down BDD, and Doran nearly does it. BDD will get away, though, as T1 trying to get something here on the middle side of the map. Trying to get some plates in trade for this. Looks like they will get one, but the calling comes down. Naming will be happy about that. At least Faker's in the top lane to get something, but Perfect is just chopping away. That is a shovel that's got some strength to it. As we're going in onto BDD, he does not have his flash, and he's up against 3. And he is going to realize that he should not be running into the jungle when he's all by his lonesome. But he says, hey, there's 3 people top. So how about Perfect? You just keep pushing bot, and that's going to force the TP out of Doran.
Herald now coming in. They're just going to use it to get some damage down this mid lane tower.
Yeah, the timing, a little bit unfortunate for Faker. He tried to get in and get a wall down, but not quite on time. So it is what it is. The Herald value is there. It's not going to be used for the dragon fight, though.
Yeah, I think it is just 5 minutes base. I don't know why I thought it was 4. Really know this sort of thing.
Technically, you're the guy that knows that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Regardless.
Maybe it was a proposed change or something.
This play from Doran on the BDD, he ends up taking tower aggro and he nearly takes him out. BDD getting very low, but able to survive there. And then we see him go to the other side. Now, without even a Ghost to try and get away.
I don't think even if Carrio's not there. Oh, that's a really nice stop on the Realm Warp, as we kind of saw it there, but Faker actually stopped the Realm Warp with his wall. Again, another thing that Anivia is very good at. Into the Rise.
Yep, and we are seeing BDD kind of get punished a bit more now on this Rise, playing into this matchup. The immobility, especially when you don't even have Phase Rush, which was removed from the game, does make it very difficult if you get locked down in that Glacial Storm and the wall comes out.
Perfect's TP is up, so... We need to do another deep dive about the CD situation. I don't really know which is correct, because based on the timing, feels like 4 minutes. I don't know. Maybe our spacers can dig into that one. And 14 seconds until the Hextech Drake is going to spawn. You see that Effort's getting some nice wardage over the wall. Aiming, trying to be a threat here. He has 2 items with the Flicker Blade, so... something that T1 do have to be careful about. If you get chunked out by Illusion before the fight begins, you're not going to be in a great spot. They're going to start up the Dragon.
You know what it is? He has Cosmic Insight. That's why he's
there you go.
Pull down. There you go.
We figured it out. Okay. That is going to be the Drake to KT. And T1, they get here, but they get here a bit late. So not really an angle for them to challenge it. And, I mean, they didn't use a TP to get here, speaking of TPs. They just kind of walked over and watched KT take it, and they said, oh, we don't have an angle. Let's back away.
Yep, so great for KT, denying that Hextech Soul point. And the fact they get it without even needing to fight feels pretty good. I feel like even though they have this super strong Yorick, the fact that T1 has a gold lead despite the 2.4k gold advantage in the top lane is a little concerning. Yorick, I think, does okay into T1's composition in terms of being able to fight. Oh.
All right, well, that's going to be Cuz getting the flash at a Faker as he goes on in, as he's got another charge of the Cyclone, but he's not quite able to land it on anyone. And they have the damage as he's just sitting in the ult from the Anivia. And so I suppose a nice bait from Faker.
T1 forced the play on Cuz by trapping him with the wall, and he decides to try and make a fight out of it rather than just flashing away. In the end, he goes down, does burn the flash from the Anivia, and the exhaust and pays. But ultimately, does give another kill over. And now T1, 1,200 gold up. Again, despite the big discrepancy in the top lane, we see both Faker and Pays being very strong in this current situation.
Yeah, it's really nice to see Faker having this lead as well, as this is the fight once again. They trap Cuz. Faker flashes, but leaves Cuz in a rough spot.
Yeah, the ult from Effort comes out, but it's just not enough. I feel like now, less pressure from those Dragons. Baron is up and available, so have to be a little bit concerned if you do overstep now, as a jungler in particular, that they could just turn onto that.
Yeah, it's just pretty interesting the way this game has gone, where it's like Perfect got this gigantic lead 9 minutes into the game. He's held around a similar number, like he slowly grew it to 2.3k instead of 2.
Oh, they're looking for Faker, but Ona's there to block them.
He's still going to TP out.
Yeah, it was a little bit, perhaps more concerned than we were, but
this happens to Faker every game.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's always in a side lane, they're always collapsing on him. So
my real concern is
a bit of paranoia.
Perfect's not getting that much done in the side lane.
Yeah.
And getting that Dragon was huge because it buys more time for the playthrough sides, but we're not really seeing that much success come through. He's kind of just pushing waves into the Rumble.
Yeah.
And considering, even with that massive goal deficit in top, T1 are still ahead, it's going to be really hard to 5v5. The Yorick just doesn't have as much impact as some of these other picks on the side of T1.
Yeah. The Yorick lead is nice, but it doesn't win you the game alone. I think if BDD were also fed, they could be in a good spot where they're kind of controlling the map and really pulling them apart, but every time BDD showed up in a side lane, he just kind of died or had to roam warp away, or, you know, doesn't really have any pressure by himself. He's in the top lane now, but I think that's just based on the tempo. Faker went for a back. And so KT just kind of holding on maybe let their Rise scale up to some items. But in terms of scaling, I mean, you're dealing with Anivia and Saya, who are very good at scaling into the late game. So I think T1 playing it a little bit more passively. You know, they're not throwing any crazy T1 Barons in just yet. You know, I'm not going to put them past them if they do start one up here soon. But there's controlling vision. You know, trying to bait KT maybe into making a mistake around the lack of vision. And just waiting for a team fight.
1 minute away from that dragon. This is a really delicate one because if you lose this, you can just lose the Baron. And T1, because they didn't get that third one, they aren't in position to secure Soul. I feel like if you are able to secure a Hextech Soul, then even if you lose the fight, it's not that bad. But neither team gets a huge power advantage from securing this dragon directly. And if you lose the fight in a severe way, it's definitely just going to be a Baron on the cards. Right now, T1 have started to move over, get some control in the area. It's definitely easier for them. They've already taken down KT's tier 1 tower. They have a Rakan who can ward rather than Emilio, who's quite vulnerable. You can see KT picking up that blue, but are now looking to move in through this tri-brush here. Rather than go directly through the banana brush, they're taking a more conservative route here. Just a little bit scared of matching straight away into T1. And the concern with this is you're playing into an Anivia who's very good at controlling space. You're kind of giving them some free reign over.
Okay. Cuz, you said our junglers had to be careful. His clone is already down. They're just going all in on a Cuz, actually. Owner just going to get out of there after the fact.
This Fed Yorick just lost the Maiden. Cuz already chunked out. Perfect already chunked out. He's going to TP back in.
Culling was like a zoning culling as well.
Yeah, Cuz is desperate to get some health back from this Grom. But it looks like they aren't even going to contest the dragon. They don't see the angle anymore. They don't want to die and give over Baron. But a third dragon to T1 and a Hextech Soul feels pretty great.
There's a lot of respect being shown by both of these teams, I feel like. As Doran, I say that, he is going to just face check here up against BDD. BDD, though, with a follow flash and Ghost, doesn't get the kill. So at the end of the day, I think Doran's pretty happy about that. Although he does get chunked, and now he's not going to be happy about this. He's got TP, though, so maybe they can try to come in here. KT going for the Baron. As that is going to be TP from both of the solo laners of T1 joining in together at basically the same time. And now it's straight up 5v5. The wall comes in. Keria doesn't find the engage he was looking for, as he nearly had it up against Faker's wall. But now it's going to be the grand entrance. Not really available with the quickness, and BD Realm morphs into the back line, does a little bit of chip damage as the knockup goes in on a Owner. Cuz kind of with a lackluster engage as well. Bit of that from both sides, as we're not really seeing the angle. Cuz gonna be interrupted on his dash and immediately dies, and he is the jungler. He dies, T1 come in, smite the Baron, and T1 say thank you very much.
T1 with some beautiful control there, able to just keep KT locked in, unable to find a good way to navigate that situation. And as soon as Cuz oversteps, he's punished. T1 capitalize and will get the Baron off the back of that. The fact they got the third dragon, they're getting the Baron as well. They're in a phenomenal spot right now. As this play goes in, Keria doesn't find an angle, burns a flash there, but not able to find it. But it's okay, you're a Khan, you can disengage so easily. And then KT is still kind of locked into this play because the Baron's so low, they can't just give it up. Cuz looks for an engage. He disengages, but he's at this awkward position where he's tanking the Baron again.
Yeah. Ooh.
And that interrupt from Owner with the dash is beautiful. Ults him to follow up. And the rest of KT just can't really find a way in to help because Faker's just dropping the Glacial Storm on them. T1 working so well as a unit, and KT end up losing another objective.
Yeah, and Cuz wanted to go back in there. He had the second charge of a Cyclone, and you could tell they were kind of like backs against the wall, so they wanted to have Cuz engage for the team. He is pretty much the only engage. You saw BDD like trying to realm warp into the back line and do it that way, but unless Cuz gets in with a Cyclone, you're not engaging onto the Anivia. As, speaking of engage, they're going to find just straight up aiming. He's just dead. And now they're going to get Emilio as well. So a 2-for-1 there as T1 get in underneath the turret. As Perfect was pushing top lane, but now he's got to come back.
This might just be an opportunity to end the game with the Baron minions as well. I think KT really going to struggle to do much here. Cuz has a Cyclone at least. But into this T1 composition, it's so hard to find an angle.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to engage on this? I just don't see it happening. As Cuz, once again, being bullied on the left side, he's not really going to find an angle to engage himself as the exhaust comes down on a BDD. He doesn't have any summoners, used it chasing Doran 4 minutes ago. And that's going to be the end of this game. BDD goes down and so does Perfect. And T1 say, cool lead you got there, Perfect. We don't care. We're the better team. And they take them down in the span of about 5 minutes to the drawing board, because getting your Yorick ahead but then not being able to utilize it at all is also a bit of a problem. Well played from T1, you know, picking and choosing their moments to go in. I like how they dropped the one dragon and then they force the next one on the Hex Tech and are able to get a really nice lead from that. And they call KT's bluff as KT try to do this bit of a desperate Baron, to be honest. I mean, they force the 2 TPs in, but then they stick around and try to take the team fight, and they just get totally wiped up. KT fall too far behind after that. T1.
여기 봐줄게.
뺐다 노플이야.
나 누구 타고 갈 수 있긴 해. 오케이. 나 봐봐.
천천히. 라인부터.
라인 나 높은 라인부터. 다 같이다. 얘네 어차피 막으러 가.
타부터 쳐봐.
나오면 볼게. 나오면.
확인.
맞아 올게. 맞아 좀.
타워 쳐줘.
라이즈.
타워 쳐야 되거든.
라이즈 올게. 라이즈 봐줘. 좋아. 잡아도 끝나긴 해.
그러게. 요리 노플인데.
다 높을. 아 왜 이래.
나이스.